Hey everybody, it's Magical Meg, and I am here for the final episode of Manifesting with Meg for the year 2018. And I am so excited because I have Chris Palacios, like I said before, and we are ready to talk all things magic tonight, Magic and Miracles in December, which is all about awe-inspiring magic and miracles in December. So there's Rafa, my brother from Colombia, and Chris's mom is on. Thank you guys for coming to share the magic with us. We're ready for this tonight, and we are ready to make December of 2018 an amazing experience. Denise is on. Oh my God, I haven't played tennis in so long. I miss her. And Maurizio, it's Italian, so I didn't say ciao, Maurizio.
I'm going to Italy in April.
Even better. Oh my God. That's awesome. That's the month of transforming dreams into reality. So God only knows what's going to happen to you when you're there, right? Oh my God, that sounds exciting and crazy and awesome. So anyway, tonight we are, like I said, talking about December and magic and miracles in the month of December, and we are ready to take this up a notch in this very interesting 2018 year. We've got our love buttons on, and we're ready to engage the conversation to another level. Like I said, this is the culmination of the year empowerment of 2018, and I'm heading into, I've dedicated 2019 is going to be my year of magic. So even better, the effortlessness I'm kind of wanting a little bit more of, because 2018 wasn't so effortless, but learned a lot of really good lessons. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I think 2013 was one of those years that was a little challenging.
13?
2018.
You're going back. I don't know. Yeah, no,
13 was a little challenging too.
That was really challenging. Actually,
no, 2018 was a little challenging, but I think that with every challenge that we get, we become better people. Right?
Absolutely.
And so I think that is where I want to leave 2018. So
anyway, so we are ready to go into 2019 with Magic and Miracles, and I couldn't be more excited to have Chris. And I love how we met. The story how we met is even more magical and synchronistic, and you guys all know by now, after how many years or how many months of me doing this and years of knowing me, that I love synchronicities. And the people who show up, like JC on the Camino with me, and Chris in my life too, it's just incredible. And I'm always the observer, and I always like to pay attention to those people who do show up in my life. And Chris came into my life on that day in October long ago, when we were both had the really exciting opportunity to be present with Oprah, Yanla, and Liz Gilbert, and Rob Bell.
Yeah.
And I think, did I hit everybody?
Deepak
Chopra was there too. And we actually got to know each other because this guy is a guru on social media, and he's awesome. So he showed me how to do my first tweet on the screen of Oprah.
And then we were on the screen in the American Airlines Arena together, so it was amazing.
So then we were just jumping up and down.
Your first tweet was like...
It was so exciting.
On the American Airlines Arena screen. So
with you even better.
We have a lot to live up to.
I know.
We gotta keep on spreading.
I know, yeah. So we've already put it up there. So we have to continue manifesting the effortless flow of that momentum. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yes, so Chris is an educational consultant who creates personal learning experiences. So that is his day job, but I'm sure he does it in the most magical way, because since day one, since I've known him, we've always talked incredible possibilities, and it's an amazing field of potential, which actually authors like Pam Grout speaks to. So I am just really happy to have him here. He works with families who have children with learning disabilities, as well as social and emotional behavioral disorders, to ensure the success of these students, to get them over those possible blocks into a really, really successful experience in school. And then he even goes on after the fact and takes them, basically guides them through the process of getting into colleges. So that's really kind of an amazing time to get kids, because they're not really sure what they want to do and where they want to go. And Chris has been really savvy with regard to the whole journey as far as that's concerned. But he's had a great opportunity in his career so far, 10 years as a K-12 teacher in public and private schools all around the United States. So I think that has given him the wisdom that he's needed to give the guidance that he's giving now to a lot of really, really lucky kids out there who has the opportunity to work with you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I want to thank him for coming. He loves to travel, which, certainly going to Italy in April is one of those things that he's ready to go. I know he went to Europe actually after I first met him, so he traveled all over there.
About that one.
Yes.
We'll talk about the creation of Shine a little bit.
Yes, that's true. We did. We definitely. He left. We created.
I left.
And then he left. But we were deliberately created together. So the idea was planted. So there you go. But he loves to do personal development every year, which is awesome, because if you give yourself that time to have that self-care, it can really lead to really magical and manifesting magical things. At the minimum, you get to meet a lot of wonderful people along the way, but certainly maybe learn something new and different about yourself that you didn't know before. So Chris,
very true.
Anything I missed? Because I'm sure there's more to your bio that I didn't add or I didn't address.
Actually, one of the things that I use now with some of my students that I kind of was inspired to do by Meg was every year she has a vision boarding workshop. And I have been doing that with a lot of the students that I work with when they're not sure of what college they want to go to or what they want to study. I have them put out there all of the things that they find in the magazines that they're interested in. And then by them having an actual visual piece to look at to see what they might be interested in, because they've poured it out onto this paper, they actually can tell me, you know what, this I really like this, I really like this other thing.
I love that.
It helps us
you never told me that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I do that.
That's amazing.
It helps us to develop where they're going to go and what they want to study. So it's been very helpful, and I've been doing vision boarding ever since.
It's
and
addictive.
On the vision board that I did at Meg's like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe 3 years, 4 years ago.
Four years.
After the Oprah thing.
Yeah.
Everything on that video, everything on that vision board has come to fruition.
Wow.
Everything on there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you put 100 things on your list.
Yeah. Everything is on.
You notched it up a notch, right? Okay.
So I believe that they work, and if you are invited to Meg's next one, you should come, because they are very powerful, and they do work.
I think most people who know me and those who do not must know that I am a vision board fanatic. And the thing is that when you're a very visual person, and when you see things, I think that you get excited about it. And like the possibilities already there because you see it every day, right?
That's what it is. I think that's how they work.
I mean, literally.
It's like a jog in your own mind to help you kind of refocus every day on these things that you want for yourself.
Right.
So I really think they're great.
I think it's cool too because, for me, it's kind of like a bolstered, like, don't forget. I'm here.
Exactly.
Don't forget, you got excited about me. I'm here. So even with regard to, and I know JC's watching, even with regard to setting up my Shine Adventure to go on El Camino this last year, it was there the whole time. It's like, I cannot not go. It's been on my vision board for quite some time now, so I need to take advantage and take it to the next level. So, I mean, what is one of the things that you've done on your vision board that has come, it's the most exciting and the most,
When I went to Brazil, and the Sugarloaf Mountain was on my board, and I knew that I wanted to have that scene as part of my life, in the near future.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
I figured out a way to get there and make it happen, and it happened. And luckily, when I went to Brazil, I went to a school, an NGO, and I was able to help students who were there. There was in a favela, actually, Rocinha favela. I went there and I evaluated a school program that was teaching kids English and help them get on a better track so that they could be more successful. And
when did you go to Brazil then?
That was the year after.
Okay.
So 2015.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
wow.
2015.
That's amazing. Wow. So that was like your highlight. I mean, Brazil. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome that you just. That's amazing. It
was before the Olympics and before it got all crazy. Thankfully, I was there at a good time. You got to catch these things when the moment is right. It just unveils itself.
Well, isn't it true that even though when you plan it and then everything unfolds and you just allow like this random momentum to take over, things just like you were saying
just
before.
Book the flight and see what happens.
There you go. So book the flight and see what happens. Or maybe you can get one of those maps. I know that they sell them. They have that big map and they have these like stickers or not even stickers. So I was like, they get a dart and just throw it at the map.
And that's where you go.
And perhaps stay away from areas that might be a little violent at this point in time. But so maybe your aim is not so good, but you have to go where it lands.
And you have to.
That's kind of spontaneous. I think that's kind of magical, if you ask me. But actually, one of the thought of the day tonight is to look to a world beyond your imagination, which is quite exciting because when you actually embrace your imagination, they say that is how you become the deliberate creator of things not seen. So when you embrace those things, that genius that comes to mind, like Liz Gilbert says, the genius that taps you on the shoulder, and get to that point where you're ready to go the next level, your imagination come to life. I'm sure there's things in your imagination that you have developed and have brought to the fore that you never in a million years when you dreamed it thought you would ever see it.
Right.
And what exactly would that be? Something that comes to mind, like.
Oh God, there's so many things.
That's always a good thing to say. So many things.
Yeah, there are so many things that I've dreamed that I, didn't know would happen. But I think one of the most amazing ones was that when I was a lot younger, I really truly felt that I wanted to have my own business, and I wanted to be.
That's bold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because my father, I remember when I was a little kid, my father would say, "Remember the word entrepreneur." That's going to be a word that you need to remember.
How old were you when he told you that?
Like third grade or second grade. He would tell me
awesome.
about being an entrepreneur. And so when my teacher asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be an entrepreneur. And she asked me if I knew what that meant. I was like, I'm not sure, but I'm sure it's something really important. So, and then as time passed, it came to fruition, and it was something that was always in the back of my mind. But until I pushed forward and pushed effort into that, it wasn't happening, And people would tell me, maybe you should go into your own business. Maybe you should do things for yourself. You're kind of an independent person. But I was always there was a little bit of fear and a little bit of reluctancy to do something, to step out on your own. But when I did that is when I realized that is the way to be. That was about 6 years ago. And when I took that leap, that is when I realized that if you keep taking leaps, you'll keep reaching higher and higher. And if anything happens and you fall, you'll just land right back where you were before. So, there's not much that you can really get hurt from that. So
yeah. Or, even like when they say, when kids do graduate, I was talking to one of our cousins yesterday, and I said, it's a step. And you don't really go backwards because you've learned so much in the falling. In the falling, you've learned so much what you want to do again and what you do not want to do again. So
it's always a learning experience.
And now you are your own entrepreneur, right?
Right.
And is the vision of what you decided, or like in your imagination of what that word meant to you, is that what you have seen unfold in your life at this point?
It's almost bigger than that.
Oh,
that's the thing that's cool.
That's really cool.
It's bigger than what I thought it would be.
Yeah, that's
and
really cool.
That is what I appreciate the most.
Wow.
And that's why I think that this topic is magic and miracles. And a miracle is something that is beyond belief. A miracle is something that you don't expect to happen, but then it does happen. Right? That's one of my definitions for miracle.
It's always so, because it's such a magical notion, and how people think that it's such an impossibility that when it happens, it's like, oh my God, is this happening? Right. I kind of shifted to the point where I expect miracles.
Right.
And they might not be unfolding like you imagined it,
right.
but yet it's still in and of itself a miracle because of something that has, you've witnessed, you've borne witness to.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of what you're saying.
Yeah. And every little day is a tiny little miracle. There's a tiny little miracle somewhere. That's what I always say. And in my day, there's something that is miraculous.
Oh, I like that.
I made it through traffic without screaming.
In Miami.
Tiny little miracle.
In Miami.
Any little thing can be a tiny little miracle, and if you just keep experiencing them, you'll realize that they're not as far from your reach as you think they are.
So we're talking all things magic and miracles tonight. So I love the idea. I say it's something wonderful is about to happen, and you're saying a tiny little miracle is going to happen. But it's always you're looking for that something miraculous or wonderful
or magical
to come up. And there's an author, her name is Pam Brown, and she says, she speaks to the point. I think many people who are conscious creators or deliberate creators say the things that you look for, you will find, right? So if you're out there looking for something good to happen to you, most likely than not, you will more happen upon that rather than if you're looking, if you're looking for something bad to happen to you, it could happen too. It's like that constant boom, 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 boom. You're like, whoa, step back, take a shift. Right? You got to get out of that mindset. So with you, like even today, let's speak today. What was your tiny little miracle that happened today? That you can bring to the fore and let everyone know about.
I think today. I don't think today is a tiny little miracle, but being here with you is to me. I'm very happy to be here and to be able to talk about these things with all of you out there that are watching and whoever else will watch this later when it replays because. I think we don't spend enough time, or we don't reflect enough in our lives to notice the good things that are happening, because there's a lot of chaotic things that are happening in our daily lives and in the world today. And if we don't stop for a moment and think about the tiny little miracles that we have, then we'll become insane. Yeah. We'll literally become insane. So it's really important.
I know, that's great. So you're just like, craziness sets in, and you're just like all sorts of wacko. Yeah.
And there are those people in your life that don't recognize those things, and that they're crazy, and you stay away from them. And so if they practiced a little bit of this, then we could all get along better. It's really important to reflect and to think about the great things that are happening in your life, because it doesn't matter who you are, you can find something. Yeah. There is something that all of us can have within us, even if it's just that we're lucky to see the day today. We're lucky to wake up another day. So many people aren't lucky to do that. Tiny little miracles, that's all it is. And living, like breathing and all of those things are all tiny little miracles that have to all work together in order for us to keep going on a daily basis. So,
and I'm sure, like, when you deal with teenagers, to introduce
that
concept to them. To say your prayers first, and then to introduce that concept to them, because sometimes they're not really in the mood to hear about your tiny little miracles. Right. They just want to tell you how awful the world is, or how wonderful it is when they're doing well. But the whole idea is that you bring that energy, right? The energy to the room, which changes everything, right? Like, I really truly believe when you get intentional about the energy that you show up with, it can change the whole story as it unfolds. Which I imagine that when you practice that on a daily basis, then it can be something really miraculous, right?
Well, with students all the time, I tell them it's conscious decision making. When I come and step into your home and I'm working with you on something, and you're telling me about how terrible a teacher is, then what's going to happen is that teacher's going to consistently be terrible. Everything's going to be terrible in that class, and it's going to be a horrible, no good, very bad day every day.
Every day.
So instead,
wasn't that a book?
Alexander's terrible, no good, very bad day. It's going to be that for them every day. So instead, think about one thing. I would say, think about one thing that is a nice thing about this person, and then from there move forward, and then from there do your work. Yeah. And then from there, let's keep it moving. And we're not going to sit here and grumble anymore about how this hasn't been going your way, because it's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah, like that.
And when I was at this workshop in California at 1440 Multiversity,
I would love for you to tell everyone about 1440, because it's really magical.
It's an amazing place. 1440 is the number of minutes, I think, in a day, or seconds in a day.
Oh, I had no idea that.
That's why it's called 1440.
Very cool.
Sorry, I can't remember right now. Yeah. But while I was there, I saw Liz Gilbert and Cheryl Strait speaking about creative living beyond fear. But one of the things that they mentioned that really stuck with me was the fact that everything in this earth, all of the things are created. Everything, we're moving towards creation. Every day, your nails are getting longer, your hair is growing. It's all about creating and growing, right? When you're in that space of creation, you're going in the movement of the world and the earth, of moving forward and creating things and putting them out there. But when you stop doing that because you say, well, I'm not ready to do this move yet, or I'm not ready to write a book or to go on a trip because I don't have all my affairs in order, you're actually going against the flow of energy, which is to push forward and to grow. Mm-hmm. So stop preventing yourself from doing that and move forward by making plans for yourself.
That's amazing.
And see your way through it, and you can grow through that. And even if the thing that you want to do doesn't come to fruition, or it's a struggle to get there, but you get there, everything that you've learned along the way is making you a better person. And it's like you're that caterpillar that went into a cocoon and became a butterfly.
Oh, I like that metaphor, definitely.
Right?
Yes.
Because it's like until you create that cocoon for yourself, you'll never turn into a butterfly.
No, absolutely. I want to speak to the point where you're saying that, the deliberate creator. We can deliberately create wonderful things in our life, or we can unconsciously create really, really bad things in our life. Sure. If we just go numb. So I think that by the concept that you're saying is to get really conscious, like you were saying, about your life, and then show up how you want to show up on your terms and in the way that you really dream up your life and then see what happens from that point on. Then it becomes like you looking for your little miracles on a daily basis, which is fantastic, right? Changes the whole dynamic of how you interact with others. And you know, I have to speak to this point because you told me when you met Oprah in 2014, you were speaking to her and you shared with her something that stayed with me, because you shared it with me about the connections. And do you recall the conversation that you had? I know you do.
I remember my conversation with Oprah.
Yes.
I remember it. Of course I remember that.
You know, but how poignant it was, you know?
Well, she just told me that, the thing that I remember that I took away from it was that words matter, and that the things that you tell people stick with them and they matter. So I don't know if that was what maybe you got from it, but
it is.
But and I have a little plaque with the words matter quoted on it, because I truly believe that the words that we tell ourselves they matter. And a lot of the times people they're not very nice to themselves. We aren't very nice. We're very critical of ourselves.
Yes.
But if we were a little kinder and gentler with ourselves, we would go much further, I think. So.
And to that point, I had a friend who taught me a concept that was actually very profound, because when someone gives you a compliment, you know, instead of shooing it away, we were talking about this today, say, you know, thank you, and in the back of your mind or out loud, it depends how brazen you want to be. I think so too. So, Chris, you look fantastic tonight with that Santa hat on. It looks amazing. You would say...
Thank you. I think so too.
There you go. So it starts to like really lay down neural pathways. So you start talking kindly to yourself.
Right.
And that in turn, like he says, words matter. Then you start to talk kindly to others. Because when you're nice to yourself, you show up in the world a very different person.
Oh, yes.
Because impeccable with your words. I mean, my God, that is first and foremost the thing that's going to keep you integrally, you know, honest with yourself.
And honest with yourself.
Absolutely. Well, you know, it's interesting because we spoke to Oprah, and I met Chris at Oprah in 2014. And after, I get this phone call from him, and you know, we hit it off. We're like jumping around. He gets excited. I get excited. Everyone gets excited. So I loved him. I was like, oh my God, we have to keep in touch. And plus, he showed me how to do a Twitter the first time, so I had to keep in touch with him. But and we started speaking to, let's keep this vibration going. Remember?
Exactly.
And then we were speaking to, what can we do next? What can we do next? And we started batting around ideas, and we were planting the seeds of what is now called Shine, Spirit, Hope, Insight Networking Event, my nonprofit. And Chris was one of those very integral collaborators in my life who showed up and actually gave me more of the push I needed. And then he went to Europe. So he left me. But the bottom line is that we started well. So that's really exciting when that happens, because, you know, the ideas are planted, and how we take them to the next level is another thing altogether. Exactly. I mean, you remember the conversation. Oh, yeah. What do you remember the conversation?
Well, no, what I took from all of that was that when we were both wanting to have something really good go out there. And I think that we were kind of in a little bit of an impasse. We weren't sure how
where to go with it, right?
Where to go with that. So just the conversation that we had, just the conversations that we were having was opening up the pathway to that happening and making it a reality. Right. And when we went to when we had... what was the name of the first?
Peacock Garden Cafe?
The Peacock Garden.
Yeah.
When we went to the Peacock Garden Cafe, and we said, this could be the location.
And you had spoken there, right?
And I had spoken there earlier.
Right.
So a few months before that, prior to that, so I said, hey, this is a great little location. Yeah. It's a cool little area. It's near where you live in Coconut Grove. And so then I thought, this could happen here. Yeah. And it did happen there. The very first time it happened there. And it's all about what we were thinking about. And we were planning it as we were there. And I mean, we hadn't booked anything. We hadn't done it. But we thought about it. Oh, this could happen here. And we thought about how many people could be there. And all of those things. And the maximum amount of people that could have been there were there. Right? Yeah. And it was a great event.
It was a great event.
And it's multiplied ever since. And that's what happens when you put that energy out there. And I think that... while I wasn't there at that event, I think that just getting the ball rolling, for me, part of it was like, wow, that was successful. I know that when I have conversations with people about things that we want to do, that they can happen.
Yes. And the cool thing is that Karen writes manifesting. Absolutely. It's manifesting ideas and who you meet along the way, because, I just needed an extra push from you. And, you're still, in my mind, a part of it. It's just that, how it unflows in your role and whatever is a little different. But the bottom line is still there's like a part of you in the whole unfolding, which is amazing, because I'm not big into competition. I'm into collaborating. And I don't know where you're going to get the idea and who's going to play part. And you don't know. That's the magical part of the whole thing. And that's why Karen writes manifesting. It's the magical part, because you really don't know someone's role and you don't want to fix it. What your intention is on that person, you're just putting it out to the world. This is what I'm looking for. Who's going to show up and address it? And I know, we were talking, about synchronicity, and that's certainly, speaking with you, the whole idea of meeting people and who shows up. And I actually have set out to the Lord, please, I speak to God, but please have me aligned with people who will help bring my dreams to fruition, to see them come alive. And I know with you, you're very much a lot about alignment, and the people who show up are really important to you as well. So with that in mind, how do you live in a state of wonder with regard to that and how that shows up?
Well, it's funny because something that came up when I went to California was for the conversation with Liz Gilberta and Cheryl Strait, was I knew that I had to get to this location, 1440, but it wasn't exactly in San Francisco, and I knew that I was going to be either taking a van, shuttle, whatever, on the way there, but I kind of waited until the last minute.
Oh. You didn't even know how you were going to get there? Oh my God.
I get there. I'll get there.
You would send a pragmatic logic out of like their mind. Like, oh my God, thank God you went by yourself, right?
So there was a board, like a rideshare board.
That's so funny.
And I go there, and when I get there, when I'm on the rideshare board, I end up talking to 3 other people who end up all being available. That's and we awesome. All rode together and had an amazing trip together, about a 45-minute hour drive to 1440.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Got to learn about each other, and then we're in a space with like 300 people, but where there were already 3 other people that we kind of felt more closely connected with. And each one of them had an amazing story to tell. And it was an interesting ride. We all shared our lives, a little bit about our lives. Yeah. And at the end of it, we all are still connected to each other. We all still can communicate with each other through Facebook, messaging, texts, and stuff like that, sharing our lives on the interwebs or whatever you want to call it, right? But it's really fun, and I'm also in another group with that is part of those people, all of those people that went, who kind of help each other with all of the things that they're creating. Wow. And we post, and then people respond and give us permission. Oh, that was awesome. One of the things that we talked about was sometimes you need permission. Sometimes you need a friend to tell you, I give you permission to go and spend $500 on that piece of jewelry that you like or whatever, or go
Karen.
on that.
Karen's on. She likes that.
Or go on that trip that you've been wanting to go, but no one will go with you. But I give you permission to go on your own. That. Sometimes we need permission. It makes us feel like it's okay. And so, what was a really cool thing in the audience was everyone stood up and asked for permission for something. And then
at 1440,
and then
really?
we all screamed, permission granted!
Oh my God!
So
everyone needs to do that all the time.
Yeah, so,
oh my God, I absolutely love that.
I like using that, and I say
what was the thing that you asked for?
I asked for the courage to complete the book that I've been writing.
So permission granted.
Permission granted.
There you go.
So that was what it was.
Awesome. And you're halfway done.
And I'm halfway done.
That's even more amazing.
I want to have it done. There's a whole Liz Gilbert challenge that we're all trying to get things done by her birthday.
Oh, when is that?
So, which is in October of next year.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
I've got time. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make it happen.
People in there's a national writing.
Yeah, the NaNoWriMo.
NaNoWriMo. I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but they do it in a month.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So I have plenty of time.
You have plenty of time for sure. That's awesome. And I really like this permission granted concept, you know? So it's kind of like, because I know that in part of her book, when she screams out to the universe, like what the things she wanted in Eat, Pray, Love,
right.
and things, like that's why I think when she was about to get divorced from her husband, that he actually signed it. But it was kind of like, that. And it's kind of like you're creating, and it gets to, like, that's magical. It's really exciting, and it's like, oh my God, and you become like this hero on your own journey then, like the whole Joseph, because I know she's a big hero's journey person, and I love Joseph Campbell, the whole mythology behind that, and the archetypes of the hero and the bravery and the courage. You know, I even told someone twice today that, wow, I'm so proud of the fact that, I'm so inspired by the fact that you had courage to basically launch out into the world and try a new career path. And I think that with regard to being an entrepreneur, it's the same thing. Someone saying to you, I'm so proud of the fact that you took that step in life, that leap of faith, to take on and do what it is that you came here to do, right? I mean, that's very wondrous, you know?
And what's really funny about it is, when I look back after that whole permission granted thing was,
I like that.
There were some parents of students that I taught that told me, you should do this, like, you would be good at it. Go and do it. Almost like that I was getting their permission. Yeah. And sometimes we just need that permission. Yeah. And it's a really weird little thing, but it makes us free. It frees us to launch into something, you know. And it's very important to, even if you don't have someone to grant you permission, for you to grant it for yourself.
No, I love that. Well, you know, it's interesting. Before I even resigned from my last job, I needed permission from my father. Like, I was afraid to tell him because I was afraid he's going to tell me something that I didn't want to hear. But when he said, go for it, it was like, that was what I needed to hear to take the next step, because he got my back, you know, like this tribe of mine, they're going to show. And that's the whole idea, this tribe of yours, while they're not going with you, they're like cheering you on and encouraging. I think yesterday I heard someone saying, you've got to have cheerleaders in your life, people who are like the ones that say support you and rah rah rah. I have many people in my life like that, and I imagine that's therein lies magic.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and I'm sure in your life too, with regard to your family, your friends, everything like that. Tell me.
Well, I mean, when, again, I'm going to bring this up, but when we were when I was at this conference, we talked a lot about writing letters and how they're a good way for you to connect with any kind of vulnerability that you might feel, fears, or your wonder, your sense of wonder, your sense of dream. And one of the ones we wrote was to our friends and to our family, to our loved ones. And one of the things that I wrote that I don't say as much as I should was that I know that I'm connected to all of you on Facebook, and I know that I'm connected to all of you on Instagram or whatever, all of these things. We don't normally have the chance to talk all of the time. But I know that you're there on the sideline of my life, and you're going to be there for me when something happens if I need you, and I know that I can call on you. Those are my friends, and they will be there for me no matter what if I call on them. And that's what a true friend is, you know?
And I think the coolest thing, even as a teacher, is that when you turn around and you give your students as well the permission to actually explore certain avenues or certain areas and get curious and become an observer to their world and get curious about the different subjects, and then they start coming alive, and then you start to shine a light in those areas of their life that they didn't recognize before. They thought maybe that was just something that's a hobby or something, but you start shining a light in those, you know, skills. As a teacher, I mean, you are the light for these students, which is amazing. I'm sure that you felt like that in many regards.
Oh, it's fun, but it's also kind of exhausting because you constantly are giving a lot of this energy that you want to use on your own on yourself, to everyone else that you work with. And there's this fine line that you have to juggle between how much do I have to give and how much is in my own reserve, because I can't power down the battery of the phone or of whatever it is of myself, because then I won't be able to give anybody anything.
So let me ask you something with regard to balance. Like you're speaking to like giving your energy away, keeping it for yourself for self-care. You do the personal development part, you do that as well. But I think even in the daily base, like in a daily kind of process of your life, and you know, you have to feel like you have to be really, really cognizant of your energy level so that you can step back. Because if you feel yourself weak, like I mean, I'm sure that there, like you said, you feel drained at certain points, and sometimes people just keep pushing through regardless of how they feel.
Right.
How do you gauge that for yourself then?
Well, sorry if anybody watches this that I work with, but sometimes I just have to say, I'm not feeling well, and take a sick moment. And
a sick moment? It's called mental health self-care day.
Yeah, or it could be just, a one specific client.
Yeah.
That they just literally will suck all of the energy out of you, and that day you know that you have an appointment with them at 5:00, and you just are not up for it because it's gonna just drain the last bits of you away that you can't deal with. So you politely call them and say, can we reschedule for tomorrow or another day? And it's just to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Not everyone has the luxury of doing this. I know that. Not everyone can just have a call in a sick day, and but if you have that ability, do so. Or if you can just, maybe remove yourself from the situation for a little while. I think that's another way of doing it. Maybe especially if you work somewhere like in downtown Miami or in a city, leave your office and take a little walk.
That's an awesome idea. Like, take a moment, take a break.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Just remind yourself that you can.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit here and engage with a toxic conversation over and over and over again. You can actually say, listen, I'm not up to this today. I love you. I mean, I'll listen to you at the nth degree, but I can't today. You know, that's honoring yourself too, and honoring them too, because
and respecting them, right?
Yeah, because if they need that presence and you can't be that presence, they're gonna come to the table feeling drained as well, and they're not gonna get what they need from the experience with you. So I think that's amazing. That's something. And take a walk. Take a walk. Like, go take a walk. Go take a hike. Detach. Disengage. Something like that. Right?
Yeah, it's very important.
So, I have to say, because you are a big believer in the magic of your dreams, right? I know that for a fact because I've seen your dreams unfold, and I think that people actually believe in the magic of their dreams, and you actually see them unfold. It's kind of like, oh, he's doing it. Oh my God, he's doing it. And that is really kind of the miraculous things that you're talking about, right? That you speak to, because then you get really like, oh my God, what's next? And you look forward to seeing your life unfold in this incredible way, because I personally think that the more people are around that are walking this inspirational path, it kind of rubs off on you, right? You get a little of it, you get a little of that magical pixie dust on all over you, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, and then certainly, then you get to follow that person, like you say, on the sidelines, or even like, oh, maybe you have a spark of genius yourself that you can share with you that you may have not thought of. So speaking to that, how do you trust the process along the lines of the magic of believing in your dreams instead of doubting?
Doubt will always creep in. Doubt kind of has that thing, and Elizabeth Gilbert says that fear is like an insurance adjuster, and so it'll rear its ugly head and tell you, no, it's not a good idea for you to do that. You're going to get hurt. But you can tell fear, listen, buddy, take a step over there. I'm going to try, and I'll learn my lesson if I want to, but I'm in control.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
You have to be able to have fear sit at the table with you and say, listen, today I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this leap. And it's it's hard work. It's really hard work. But when you start doing it a little bit, maybe at first you don't scream at fear, but you whisper at it.
Shush.
Yeah.
Stop that.
And it'll slowly become easier to do that, to talk to your fear, to address your fears. And I think that is one of the most important things that I've learned in the most recent past, is to really address your fear, but also to address your wonder, to address all of the different people that maybe are in your head talking to you that or I guess they're like heads of different offices in your company of yourself, and talk to them all and know what's on the horizon. Can I get a report? How is it going? And really check in with checking with yourself, and then checking in with that part of you that's your fearful side, checking in with the magical side. What are the things that make you feel like you're surrounded by magic? One of the things that I love that surrounds me, that makes me feel like that I'm magical, is just driving by the beach.
Oh,
and so every few days, I have a client that lives on the beach, and I drive home on the beach, and I just like to look at the sun, the waves. If it's nighttime, the stars and all the Christmas lights that are on right now in Fort Lauderdale Beach, like I love it, and it just makes me feel in touch with the magic in my life.
I like that.
And it's something that I try to do at least once a week. I always do it more than once a week, but it's just, and also it's fun to see people on vacation. Because they're all happy. Most of them.
That's a really positive way of looking at people on vacation, and you're not. So there you go. That's awesome.
It's fun to see them all happy, and it's cold to me, but they are out there in their bikinis and in their mankinis or whatever,
it's
having
Miami.
a blast.
It's Miami. God help you if you don't like mankinis, because they're out there, I'm sure.
Having a blast, living their lives, and you're going home and you get to see people having fun and enjoying themselves, and it's like. And they're enjoying your environment where you live, and it kind of also reminds you, hey, maybe I need to take a step outside. So it's a really cool thing that I love to do.
My friend Renata is on, and she actually went to Wynwood Walls to do her photo shoot for her Christmas picture.
Oh, wow.
And they looked like they had such a good time. The pictures came out absolutely beautiful because you could just see that they're enjoying themselves. And if anyone is in Miami or visiting Miami, you need to go check out Wynwood Walls because it is truly a creative spectacle, really.
It is.
Like a lot of artists come together, and I know even my friend Megan loves to come down here, and she likes to experience with little signs on the ground and they tell you like all these uplifting, inspirational. So that's also something
it's a place that's a creation place.
Yes, creation
so
place.
So it has a lot of energy, positive, great energy.
For
there,
sure. No, it's amazing.
So.
It's amazing. So go back to the whole idea of magic of believing, and then how are you allowing the unexpected to actually happen, right? Because you can believe whatever, but then if you don't give room for, I would say, the universe to do its thing and get out of the way, kind of, then what happens then? So how do you allow the unexpected to happen?
Well, the summer that I left to go to Europe, when I was in Europe, I had it all planned out.
Oh, yeah.
I literally had an itinerary with maps. And
really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
This was like the crazy thing that I did. So it was my dream. It had been something that I had, imagined, and I wanted to tailor it perfectly. I spent a lot of money getting a Eurail pass. That's $1,000 to be able to just get on trains and go anywhere without having to book overnight or anything. So you could literally fly by the seat of your pants. Yeah. And while I'm on this,
I really know what happened.
While I'm on this trip, before the trip, I said, you know what I'm gonna get? I'm gonna buy myself the book, The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire by Deepak Chopra, and I'm gonna read it, and I'm also going to follow through with what's happening, and I'm gonna make this happen for myself, and things are gonna spontaneously happen.
This is after you plan the whole thing.
After I plan the whole thing, along the way, I'm gonna have a spontaneous moment.
You planned your spontaneous moment.
I'm planning the spontaneous moment, and I'm learning from Deepak how to plan spontaneous, because you can kind of plan for a spontaneous moment. So I'm I'm thinking about all of this, right? And I'm halfway through my trip. So I was in Europe for 45 days, backpacking all alone. I was lucky enough to have friends in some of the places where I went and stayed with them, but for a majority of it, I was alone. So I'm going to Madrid from Barcelona, and I am on one of those really fast trains, and it's July 4th weekend. I'm all kind of, at that point I was kind of missing the US because you know how everybody gets there.
You had been there for how many?
So that was halfway, so that was 20 or something days.
So you were in 20
3
days.
weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of missing my family, seeing these July 4th posts and stuff. And everybody's happy on the beach and celebrating, and it was just a regular day for me, struggling with my big backpack on, getting to the next place, and I'm reading The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire on the train.
Oh, that's great.
And all of a sudden, I'm on the train and everything's going well, and then it's time to get off the train, and I just get off the train. I'm kind of excited about being in Madrid. I went when I was in college and I hadn't been so long, so I'm excited. I'm looking around everything. I get to where I'm staying, the Airbnb that I rented or whatever, and meeting all the people. Everything was great. The man is an artist, and I'm having fun. And then I just said, hey, I'm gonna take a walk. So I walked outside and we took a walk. When I came back to my room to get everything together, I can't find the Eurail Pass ticket.
No.
And I can't find the Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire book.
They took the book too?
I left the book with the ticket in the train as a bookmark. There you go. And you can't.
Another $1,000 on the train.
$1,000.
Oh my God.
There's no way of getting that ticket back. It's a paper ticket, and you must have it with you.
Yeah.
So I got to it was nighttime.
Somebody else got a really spontaneous.
Well, they can't use it because it's just with their name. But
okay.
I called the next day. I called the train station.
That's funny.
Nobody could find the book. Nobody could find the ticket.
Yeah.
So then, but that night I cried because I was like, I just lost not 1,000. I was like, okay.
At that point, you had used 20 days, so that was
I was
good.
like, okay, I've lost $700.
That's awesome.
So, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, that's literally just thrown down the drain. I was careless. I was talking all these negative thoughts to myself, and I said, just sleep. So I called the next day to the train station, nothing. I said, okay, where do I need to rest? Where I need to rest. This is taking a toll on me.
This is spontaneous.
So where am I going? Where am I going? Because I had planned to go to Milan and then to Vienna and then to Prague from Madrid.
Oh wow.
So I said, you know what? I'm going straight to Prague.
So you missed.
So I booked I missed a few cities in between, and I stayed in Prague for the length of time that I was going to stay in those other cities.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? Maybe this is someone out there telling me, slow down. Okay. Appreciate that you're in Europe.
That's awesome.
And Prague is an amazing city to appreciate.
I've never been to Prague.
Oh, it's beautiful. The people are nice. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. But what happened was, I get to the airport.
Oh no, more. Oh my God.
The plane has a malfunction, so no one goes on. No one goes. And I had been staying in like hostels and very inexpensive hotels and things like this. So they're like, because in Europe they have way better plane issue. When there's a plane issue, the laws in Europe for how to compensate someone are much, much, much better than they are here.
I love it.
So I got to go to like a Grand Melia hotel.
VIP, man. Yeah, there you
go. With like a tub, and I took a nice shower and a bathtub.
Awesome.
And the next day, we got breakfast. They took us back to the thing. I went to Prague, and then this is the coolest thing ever. They gave me, to compensate for all of my losses, the cost of my ticket back plus 700 euros.
Oh, you're kidding.
So the amount of money that I had lost and that I had cried over and that had all that stuff had happened to me, all came back to my bank account and made me feel like there's a tiny little miracle.
I love it.
There's a tiny little miracle.
Well, that is spontaneous.
And that's spontaneous.
Yeah. Imagine if you just decided, I'm just going to cry here and not go anywhere. I'm going to be mad. I'm just going to be mad.
Or fly back home because I've lost all this money. Wow. Which I had thought for a minute to do. There was a split second that I said,
I love that.
I'm just going to have to go home now because I can't afford to make up this loss.
That's amazing. So you allowed this spontaneous, unexpected to happen, and it turned into something that turned into something, and it turned into something.
Exactly else.
And you went to Prague anyway,
and
right?
I went to Prague, and I spent a great amount of time there, and I got to really learn that city. I had a chance to really see it.
I've heard it is
magical.
Is
so much. There's so much beautiful things there, and just the people were really super. Out of a lot of the places that I went to Europe, I mean, the people that are there in the Czech Republic are just super sweet.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of art and lots of things going on there, so I really had a great time. And
that's
I'm like, and the funniest thing was, I told Deepak Chopra this story.
Oh, you did to his face?
No, he was in a chat room. Yeah. And I literally wrote this kind of short. Awesome. I lost your book while traveling, and spontaneous things happened to me after. Awesome. And he loved it, and he was like, "Oh, he read it," and he said, "I'm glad that happened for you, and you must have gotten to a certain part of the book that made it happen."
And maybe you did.
Yeah,
it was like, it's time to lose the book, and you're like, it's already, we're going here.
I got far enough into it that I didn't need any more information.
I had to tell you that, okay, so 2019 is close at hand, right? Yes. We're ready. We're looking over the past year, and we're trying to process, the challenges as well as the accomplishments and, little unexpected things that happen and how you react to them.
Right.
And then all the good things and the bad things, and we're processing everything, and we're looking to the present moment because Christmas is coming too, or even, I would say more just being around people that we love. Because I will say this, I get excited about December because people do tend to be a little nicer to each other.
I think so.
Like,
yeah.
And especially if you believe that and you are a little nicer to other people, the more likely than not scenario is that they will be nice to you. That's and then you will start up a conversation, or even just be generally kind, so you're putting out that great vibration of magical, Christmas vibes or Hanukkah vibes or Happy New Year vibes. Right. But it's there. So let's look back over like the lessons that you may have learned. You could say, what is the greatest challenge that you've had and what you've learned from it, so that it'll open up the path to 2019 into more magical and miraculous that you're capable of.
Right. Well, I would say some of the most important things are to ask for what you want to receive.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you speak in my language, my friend. Yep. Yeah.
Ask for what you want to receive, and also not to be afraid of fear, and to actually kind of maybe go in the direction of fear. That might be something that you might want to try. I've decided that I was gonna try that this year a little bit, and I think it's going well. Actually, it's a little bit scary to take these little, running into traffic. Right? It's a little scary, but if you get to the other side. To the other side, you make it. Awesome. It might annoy a lot of other people for a little while.
Oh my God.
But you get to the other side, right? So, run in traffic a little bit if you can. Yeah.
I have to tell you, that's amazing. That's a great, because, they say when you're giving a presentation, you're speaking, or even like on something like this, and you're a little scared, that's really good, because it gets you on your toes and you start to listen. Because your heightened senses, all your senses are at a different level, and you take it to another level because of that little fear, or like that nervous anxiety in your stomach. You don't let it overwhelm you, clearly, but it definitely is something that you want to be cognizant in. So at the beginning of this session, we said get intentional, right? I always, from day one to day now, 365 days later almost,
right.
I've always said to my guests, and Mari's on, and she knows, what is your intention for this experience tonight? And you said...
The number?
No. What is your intention, actually, first and foremost? What is the intention for this experience tonight?
The intention was
X-rated.
to share... My intention was to be able to share these messages with people out there who maybe are thinking about this but haven't really heard anybody speaking on this particular subject, and how that would spark them to more closely reflect on this in their own lives.
Right. Like shine the light so that other people can see more clearer their path.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And the fact is that you are someone who wants to share the wisdom is even more intense. And the number you gave us was 19. So as we have in the previous 13 episodes, we go to page 19, and I give it to you to read what speaks to your 2019. There you go.
Oh, wow.
I know it sounds good to me, so you'll share it with them.
Something great awaits you.
It's magical.
Life is a process. We are a process.
Mm-hmm.
The universe is a process. Ann Wilson Schaaf.
Yes.
PhD, American author. And
you can read it.
Read this. Life is a process that unfolds before you. It is how you approach the process that dictates the experience. And that is why trust is so important. While trust itself is defined as an assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something, it can be an incredibly dualistic concept. On the one hand, to trust in life can seem challenging when you are struggling to surrender control. Yet on the other hand, to trust in life can feel like a breath of fresh air as you ultimately release into a freedom that brings great peace. When you become aware that you are a part of something greater than yourself, both the struggle and the release have a purpose in the grand scheme of things. If you become aware and trust the reason for the unfolding of your life events will contribute to your life process. Then you can stop fighting what happens and truly begin to enjoy the ride. You then won't miss out on all that is good because your focus shifts. Remember, there is always the possibility that greater magic and miracles are waiting.
Yeah.
Magic and miracles.
Magic and miracles. There we go.
Magic and miracles are awaiting you right around the corner. Really, the magic is still there, just waiting for you to discover it, and it can help you grow to greater heights. So just trust the process. Then you hold the key to something greater then you hold the key to that something greater that will set your spirit free. And so the magical key to bliss is go for a walk in nature today. and pay attention to the effortlessness of your surroundings.
Wow. Well, he did say go for a walk when you're in a toxic environment. So clearly you channeled that for 2018 into 2019. And I want to tell you, when you speak to fear with regard to that, I mean, doing the manifesting with Meg, I was terrified. I wasn't sure that I wanted to be on any Facebook Live. I wasn't sure I was going to have a message to share. I knew I had people in my life I wanted to share with other people, and I knew that my life path in this spontaneous or not so spontaneous journey to Prague, maybe.
Yeah.
I know that I look and I see miraculous things every day. Yeah. I know love, when you come with the intention of love as your foundation and you show up, that really, like you said, the different miracles will start to appear on your path. Mm-hmm. And then you find yourself writing a book and sharing your story. And one of the coolest things that I want to share at the end with regard to the fear factor and the whole idea of trusting the process is I love William Shakespeare's concept that all the world's a stage and you are the principal actor. So when you show up every morning, pretend like you are the observer of your life and you keep watching who comes in stage left and who comes in stage right and who exits and who comes in. And it's kind of like this unfolding, because when you put your intention out there, people will meet you there. Yeah. They will align with you and meet you there, just like we have met each other, just how we on Facebook have met each other with shiny shoes, with my cousin as well. So I just want to say it's been such a pleasure to be on this journey with you, Chris, and with all of you. And I certainly am going to put Chris's information if you want someone who wants to guide your kids or people who are interested in higher learning or in education. I'm going to put his information on there so you can contact him and get to know him on a more personal basis so that he can really impact your lives and bring you to the next level. And certainly with regard to manifesting your dreams and the magic, I just want you to go out there for the last part of December. We're so lucky. It's December 17th. And we still have a whole 2.5 weeks left of December of this magical time. So I want everybody to really get intentional and go out there and bring your magic, because you are in fact magical. If you get conscious and you start thinking yourself as a liberated creator, you might be on a trip to somewhere that you never thought was possible, like you're speaking to. Exactly. And then, when you have those roadblocks, take a walk. And then if you had those motions of great courage, run across the road like Chris is speaking to, and you'll get to the other side. Yeah. Because really, as long as you're moving forward, it's all good.
Yes.
It's all good. Everything, like she said, is going to be all right. So I want to encourage you to continue on this magical journey of bliss. I want to encourage you to, find your own guide if my magical guide doesn't assist you. If not, you're welcome to join me on my own magical guide. I want you to bring your magic to the fore, because I think it's important for this world. It's important for the universe, actually. And more importantly, it's important for each one of us to show up in our lives with no regrets at the end, and stress will kill you, so might as well enjoy it, because that's much more fun. And I want to give Chris the last word, but I want to thank him for bringing his magic here tonight with me and sharing this opportunity to speak with him again, connect. It's been fantastic, and I just really want to help with Chris to inspire others to elevate their lives and shine the light on their dreams, so they can also join us in the journey, in this tribe. So exactly. You get the last word tonight, my friend.
Well, one thing that I like to do always is, people talk about New Year's resolutions. I kind of like to start my New Year's resolutions right around now, because then I give myself permission to fail in between now and January 1st.
Well, it's not a fail if you don't give up. So there you go. Right?
But if I have a struggle, if I have a struggling moment, I learn how to overcome that obstacle prior to January 1.
Oh, there you go.
And so then I move forward, and I think that works very well. Like, give yourself that that chance. Yeah. That, because it's just sometimes if we fail and that's it, because I've made the resolution and I tried, it failed. But it's not even 2019 yet. So if you try right now, you fail. You still have one more opportunity to get it right before as the new year begins. So I say give yourself the chance and start.
Well, and
start it now.
he's going to be the first one who's going to give you permission anyway.
I give you permission granted.
Permission granted. So if anything, if you have any questions in your mind that are just simmering and festering, you get permission to do whatever the heck it is to make your dreams come true.
Right.
And do it now, because today is the first day of the rest of your life, according to Chris. And you give yourself the opportunity to trip up and start all over again, right? Yeah. Because I really don't think it's a failure if you never give up. Right?
You're right.
There you go. You never really. But you might drop on your face. You might leave your ticket
but
in
we
the
both
train.
give you you might leave you but we give you permission to leave your ticket on that train.
Yes, because it's spontaneous. And spontaneous can be really good.
Yeah.
It can be really magical, people. Really. It can be really, really
you never
good.
Know
you never
what could
know.
Happen. You never know.
Yes. Scheduling your life, not necessarily good, because you're not leaving in the room for the magic. No. So on that note, remember, you're here to be deliberate creators of your life, so just go for it. This is Christmas time, extra special, extra magical. Be the gift for other people. Your presence might be just what they're looking for.
Exactly.
It might be their present. And I just want to say, shine your beautiful light until next year, 2019. I've enjoyed this. Chris, thank you. It's been amazing. Magic and miracles, baby, right?
Yeah.
There you go. And we'll
Happy
see
holidays.
you on the flip side. Happy holidays.
Happy New
Absolutely.
Year.
Have a safe and wonderful and maybe a little dangerous New Year. There you go. We give you permission.
Yeah, we give you permission.
Granted. There you go. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.